the floor was still wet. A servant moved quickly through the corridor before sunrise, wiping away the last traces of spilled wine, dust, and footprints from people far more important than him. His hands were cracked. His back ached. The palace was silent now, but only because the powerful were still asleep. Soon, the doors would open. Officials would arrive. Scribes would unroll papyrus. Guards would take their positions. Cooks would light fires. Women would prepare oils, linen, jewelry, and perfumes. Messengers would wait with sealed orders. And somewhere beyond walls painted with bright colors, the king of Egypt would wake beneath a roof built by people whose names almost no one remembered. The palace looked peaceful from the outside. Inside, it was a machine. And the question is not only how Pharaoh lived. The deeper question is this: what did it cost everyone else to keep him divine? When most people imagine the palace of an Egyptian pharaoh, they picture gold, painted columns, servants carrying trays, pools of water, music, perfume, and sunlight falling across polished floors. They imagine a world of impossible luxury, where the king moved like a god among humans. Part of that image is true. Pharaoh's palace was not an ordinary house. It was a center of command, ceremony, storage, administration, food, messages, servants, guards, women of the royal household, and political power. It was the place where the human body of the king was protected, dressed, fed, honored, hidden, and displayed. But the palace was also more fragile than people think. Unlike temples and tombs, which were built in stone to last for eternity, many royal residences were made largely of mud brick. They were alive, practical, busy, and temporary. They were not only monuments, they were working worlds. And working worlds need workers. Before the gold appeared, someone swept the floor. Before the king ate, someone carried the grain. Before a royal robe touched Pharaoh's skin, someone washed the linen, dried it, folded it, guarded it, and brought it forward at the right moment. Before power looked effortless, invisible people made it happen. The Egyptian palace depended on order. Every person had a place. Every room had a function. Every door separated one rank from another. A guard could stand near power without belonging to it. A servant could carry royal food without tasting royal freedom. A scribe could record wealth he did not own. A woman could prepare perfume for a queen while living under rules she did not create. This was not chaos. That is what makes it more unsettling. The palace was disciplined, organized, beautiful, and deeply unequal. Outside its walls, Egypt depended on the Nile. Farmers worked the fields. Tax collectors measured grain. Boats moved supplies along the river. Craftsmen shaped wood, stone, metal, baskets, furniture, and ornaments. Officials kept records. Priests maintained ritual order. Soldiers guarded routes and borders. All of that flowed upward, into storehouses, into temples, into palaces, into the world of the king. And once those supplies entered the palace, they became part of a daily performance of power. Imagine the kitchens before dawn. The air is hot before the sun rises. Bread ovens glow red. Workers grind grain. Someone carries jars of beer. Someone cleans fish. Someone cuts vegetables. Someone watches the fire so nothing burns before the meal reaches the people who matter. The palace kitchen is not a place of feasting for everyone. It is a place of pressure. Food has to arrive on time. Bread has to be clean. Water has to be carried. Dishes have to be prepared for rank, ritual, and expectation. A mistake in an ordinary house might cause anger. A mistake near Pharaoh could become fear. That fear traveled through the palace quietly. It moved with the guards standing near doors. It moved with the servants waiting for commands. It moved with the scribes who knew that a number written incorrectly could become accusation. It moved with messengers who carried words that could change the fate of villages, workers, officials, or soldiers. Because the palace did not only shelter the king, it transmitted his will. A command could begin inside a painted room and end far away in a quarry, a field, a workshop, a temple, or a military camp. A sealed message could move down the Nile. A record could decide who owed grain, who received rations, who was promoted, who was punished, who disappeared from favor. The people inside the palace lived close to power. But closeness was not safety. That is the cruel illusion of the royal household. To serve near Pharaoh could mean status, food, clothing, protection, and access. It could also mean constant observation. Your body was useful. Your silence was expected. Your loyalty had to be visible. Your mistakes could travel faster than your name. There were women inside this world too, and their lives are often flattened into decoration. But royal women, attendants, musicians, weavers, perfumers, nurses, and household workers helped sustain the inner life of the palace. They prepared bodies, rooms, fabrics, scents, rituals, children, and appearances. They helped create the beauty that later generations imagine as effortless. Beauty was labor. Perfume was labor. Linen was labor. Silence was labor. And in a palace, even silence had a hierarchy. Some people could speak. Some could only answer. Some could only bow. Some were never meant to be remembered at all. The most haunting part is that many of these lives vanished because the palace itself was not built for eternity. Tombs preserved names. Temples preserved gods. Stone preserved kings. But the mud brick spaces where servants walked, cooked, carried, waited, feared, and slept often crumbled back into the earth. The workers of the palace disappeared twice. First, inside their own world, where they served people greater than themselves. Then again in history, where the buildings of their daily lives did not survive like pyramids and temples. That is why the palace can deceive us. We see Pharaoh. We see gold. We see the crown, the throne, the painted walls, the royal image, the divine performance. But we do not easily see the tired hands that kept the doors open, the fires burning, the floors clean, the records accurate, the linen white, the grain measured, and the silence intact. And yet, without those people, Pharaoh's palace could not function for a single day. Power often presents itself as a single face. A king, a ruler, a name carved into stone. But behind that face is a crowd of unnamed lives. People who woke before dawn. People who carried weight. People who feared mistakes. People who made beauty for someone else. People who lived near greatness and remained invisible. By evening, the palace would grow quieter again. Fires would fade. Doors would close. Guards would remain awake. Scribes would store records. Servants would remove what the powerful had left behind. Somewhere, the king would sleep beneath painted ceilings. And somewhere else, a worker would lie down with aching arms, knowing that before sunrise, the machine would begin again. That is the real life inside Pharaoh's palace. Not only luxury, not only gold, not only divine kingship. A world of order, pressure, beauty, labor, silence, fear, and survival. And maybe this is why ancient palaces still matter. They remind us that civilization is never built only by the people whose names survive. It is built by those who carried, cooked, cleaned, guarded, counted, waited, and disappeared. So when we look at the monuments of Egypt, maybe we should ask a different question. Not only who ruled this world, but who kept it alive? If this journey into ancient Egypt made you see the past differently, leave your like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Life Inside Ancient Worlds. Here, we step beyond myths and monuments to discover the real lives of the people who built the ancient world.